Look, I am not surprised that this is going on. After all, the Democrats have been known for many years to be very reluctant in regards to the border, from state officials, like in, say, I don't know, California, to whenever they have control of the federal government. It's not and now it's no different, but there is definitely a major conflict between what's been going on with Texas and the federal government, and it's been ramped up very recently, specifically 2 days ago. So, background. There was a bill called Senate Bill 4, and this was within the state legislature of Texas, that was passed and was signed into law by Governor Greg Abbott. But Joe Biden threatened that if Texas was going to sign this into law and enforce it, which specifically makes illegally crossing the border an arrestable offense, specifically with Texas, then the federal government, the Department of Justice, is going to sue them. And 2 days ago, they sued Texas, which is, I just don't understand what the entire thought process behind this is. I kind of do, especially considering the fact that the federal government has been actively promoting human trafficking. I'm going so far as to say that because they're the ones who've been giving out, who basically allowed the border to basically be unguarded. 10,000 people are currently coming through the border every single day. And let's not forget about the fact that there have been recent dang it, what are they called? Leaks? Not really leaks, but investigative journalism, actual true investigative journalism, where people have been videotaping actual lines of migrants getting onto planes with tickets, without their own name, and it's being funded by the federal government. They have been actively doing this. Politically, I don't understand what this is supposed to accomplish, aside from the fact that more and more illegal immigrants come into this country and probably tried to find a way in order to get them to vote on the Democratic ticket. But in terms of that, I have the issue is that, of course, Republicans, especially within the border states from California, Arizona, New Mexico, and Texas, all have issues in regards to the overwhelming of migrants coming into this country, and they just cannot deal with it anymore. But of course, the liberals, or at least they used to, were into the idea of helping out these migrants. Of course, that was until Martha's Vineyard and the fact that Greg Abbott, along with Governor Ron DeSantis of Florida, decided to bus the illegal migrants to big cities such as Chicago, New York, Boston, wherever. And of course, that has gone to it's become a major problem for a lot of cities. People are so fed up in those cities. Hell, in order to try to deflect this, Eric Adams, the mayor of New York, has sued Texas, or more specifically, not Texas, the bus drivers who are importing these migrants into the city. And I just think that is hilarious. I mean, now suddenly they were in favor of being sanctuary cities, but now when they're actually having to deal with a lot of them, in fact, last time I checked, there were about 200,000 illegal migrants inside New York City alone, and that's been draining a lot of taxpayer money there. In fact, it's drained so low that Eric Adams actually said that he was decreasing the amount of funding for the NYPD and a few other services in order to meet the demand for the illegal migrants. It's just insane. And it doesn't help, again, with the federal government just escalating the situation further. And I find it funny how they're supposedly saying, oh, we cannot allow Texas to circumvent the Constitution or whatever because this is the federal government's jurisdiction. True, it's the federal government's jurisdiction. However, they are supposed to be enforcing these laws that not only is it within our code of laws by Congress, but also within our own Constitution. Article 4, Section 4 specifically states that the federal government must defend states from invasion. And this is basically an invasion. How the hell? You cannot tell me that it's not. Again, 10,000 illegal immigrants per day crossing into the border, and Joe Biden and his own government are not only allowing it to happen, they're actively encouraging and supporting it. They are going against federal law. They're going against the Constitution, ironically enough. So who has to deal with that? The states do, specifically Texas, and they don't like that. You know, I remember that supposedly it was the Democrats who said no one is above the law, but apparently it's completely fine for the federal government, especially in the case of immigration, to just circumvent and not do anything about it. Again, this is the issue. This goes in direct confrontation with that of the laws that were passed by Congress, as well as that of the Constitution. Who, in all honesty, Joe Biden forced Texas's hand in this. Either the federal government has to do something, or they themselves will. And honestly, with Joe Biden in helm and basically against encouraging all this to happen, well, Texas does what Texas does. And yeah, this is just going to cause a whole lot of problems down the way. And again, I don't understand how what Joe Biden is thinking here. There's no way that he's going to get any support with this. Because already Democrats in many major cities have been having issues in regards to illegal immigration. Again, New York, Chicago, etc. There's even been a feud going on between Eric Adams and Joe Biden. In fact, as I told you about with the defunding of the NYPD, he kind of actually puts the blame at the foot of the federal government. Believe it or not. I mean, don't get me wrong, he still lashes out at Texas and a lot of the states, including Florida as well. But I don't understand how this is going to appeal to anyone except illegal immigrants. I really don't. And already this decision only exacerbates the problem. It's not going to help. And it's just, oh man, it's already causing the pot to boil. It to the point where it's just becoming unobtainable. I don't know what else to say on the matter. I do wonder how this is going to play out. I know that it should be at least a few months before the Supreme Court supposedly takes this up, or at the very least a lower federal court is going to look at the decision and say yes or no, depending on who is the judge. Because as we now know, the judicial system is heavily politicized at this point. As much as I hate to admit it, it's very heavily politicized. And but I don't think that this entire issue is just going to go away on itself. The fact that Texas has already brought this up a month ago, and now with the federal government, specifically Joe Biden, suing Texas over this, there's no other words except escalation. It's only and in an ironic twist, I argue that it's actually going to hurt Joe Biden because according to the polls, he's bad on the issue of immigration. And if this as this is blowing up, well, the issue of immigration becomes a rising topic in the 2024 election. I don't know, but then again, I'm not even sure if Joe Biden is thinking at this point. Might be Alzheimer's or something. Who knows? All I do know is that whether or not a federal judge finds this constitutional or not, it's not going to end the problem, and it's sure as hell is going to cause a much more contention between the states and the federal government going forward. My name is Noah Meehan on The Art Truth. Please post your comments down below, like this video, subscribe, and share with your friends. Also, if you have any issues regarding my videos, such as how I speak or whatever, please post it in the comment section down below or directly message me. Thank you.